Oh, hi. Sorry, you caught me. I was told that to make this show better, I needed to study the legends, and there's nobody more legendary than Ron Burgundy. He taught me that weightlifting, or as he says, sculpting his guns, is one of the biggest processes to creating a good internet show. And I don't call it sculpting my guns, I call it molding my missiles. Yeah, missile. Speaking of missiles, there's some missiles on the football field in Stewart, Nebraska. Missiles in the forms of touchdown passes from Alex Coons to Mitchell Dvorak. They hooked up 3 times in the second half last week as Stewart improved to 34-0. Stewart improved to 4-0 with a 34-20 win over Scribner-Snyder. Now the Broncos only have 1 senior on their roster. Now Stewart's also going to be tested next week. After a bye week this week, they're going to take on unbeaten Wynot. Wynot full of weapons, most notably quarterback Jackson Sudbeck, a dual threat quarterback who has led the Blue Devils to the number 2 rating in the state. We'll see just what Stewart has in store for them next week. Why not talk about Battle Creek football now? The Braves improved to 3-0 on the season with a 54-41 win over Oakland Craig. Now the Braves previously hadn't yielded a single point defensively, but they proved that they got a little bit of offense too with the 54-41 win. Most notably, Nate Gray has 50 shades of ways to get into the end zone. On the season, he's now rushed for 503 yards on 52 carries. That's 167 yards per game. The other night in the win over Oakland Craig, 26 carries, 228 yards, 3 touchdowns. The Braves also are proven to have a little bit of depth behind them. They rush for over 300 yards per game, and they're going to need that in the district that they're in because not a single team has lost a game in the Class C2-6 district yet. Unfortunately for West Holt, they didn't lose a game, but they lost the best player, arguably, in the state, in Josh Coyle, in their 27-7 win over Wakefield last week. Coyle went down early in the second quarter. Turns out he tore his ACL, he tore his MCL, which means he's done for the season. But the Huskies are still in pretty good shape as they proved with that 27-7 win. All of their scoring coming after the Coyle injury. They're going to need a lot of hands on deck, probably all of them, as the phrase goes, this week when they travel to Lutheran High Northeast. The Eagles are also talented, undefeated, and they've got a lot of size up front. There's another big game in the area because these two teams are rebounding from their first loss of the season. Bancroft Rosalie is traveling to Scribner-Snyder. Bancroft Rosalie is going to be a little bit behind the 8 ball to start. Starting quarterback All-Stater Karsten Tietz will not play in this game after being ejected from their loss to Wynot. That means that Zebediah Grieve is going to have a lot of weight put on his shoulders. I don't think he's going to quite have the missiles to get it done. Scribner-Snyder has a lot of size up front. They've got a lot of talent. And Bruce Schulenberg, Troy Abel give him a nice 1-2 punch. Upset special this week, it is not Wahoo beating Norfolk Catholic because that won't happen, but Humphrey High, led by Robbie Hesacker, I'm sorry, Robbie. Humphrey High, led by Robbie Hesacker, will knock off the undefeated Lions Decatur Northeast Cougars, led by Alex Behmer, and that's because Hesacker is going to carry the ball 50 times this game after breaking the 40 carry mark in both the last games. But you won't know for sure until he's done that unless you come back next week. I'm not just going to talk about Hesacker, though. I'm going to talk about the difference between my right ear, my left ear, and what they found out when they took a trip to O'Neill last Tuesday, only to run into a pilgrim, that's right, a pilgrim, who had turned France into an Eskimo in 1973. For The Buzz, I'm Tom Behmer.